Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Too powerful, make an example of him, and not a good signing. Not my words, the words of Jamie Carragher discussing Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United yet again. Very firm on these three things, and I've got to say, I do actually agree with him on part of it. So we'll delve into that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of strong opinion both ways about this one. Very interested to get into it. But before that, the show is supported by OneFootball. You may have heard me talking about OneFootball quite a lot and how I use it, which begs the question, why are you not using it? Because you can download it for free on the QR code or in the link in the description. But before we start the video, let me just tell you about OneFootball so you can make that fantastic decision yourself. I use OneFootball as my #1 destination for football news, transfer updates, player data, and of course the latest match day scores. I don't know what magic they've got going on at OneFootball, but I always get my score notifications fastest on OneFootball. So if you want to be the most informed football fan in the world, then head to the description or scan the QR code on screen and download OneFootball totally for free today. Thanks so much to OneFootball for supporting the channel, and on with the show. And remember, it's free to do it through your phone, on your camera, or through the link in the description. Check it out, OneFootball. Lots of big news to come this summer. It's so exciting. But look, let's delve into what Jamie Carragher is saying. Cristiano Ronaldo needs to be made an example of. Ten Hag should walk into that football club, sell Ronaldo, and it would send a massive message to the entire squad. He says he wasn't a very good signing, and he also says that he's too powerful. Well, look, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm talking about the structure. I'm talking about the players. When I look at that Man United side, I think Cristiano Ronaldo's not good enough. I think they should be bringing in a Calvert-Lewin or a Chris Wood or an Origi. I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo's good enough to play for Accrington Stanley. Accrington Stanley. Who are they exactly? But look, in relation to Carragher, and that's a bad impression, I apologise, but I couldn't help it. I think he couldn't be more wrong, but I think he touches on being right in certain circumstances. Manchester United definitely do need to make an example of somebody this summer, but you do not make examples of the person that's actually trying to raise the standards to the club. Now, he made a really good point, and I think I like Carragher. Look, he made a... I mean, I'm talking about it on the United Stand at 2 o'clock. He spoke about Rashford, and he was absolutely on the button, but we're not here to talk about that. Let's talk about Ronaldo. So he said that the United dressing room the season before last was quite good. You know, there was no problems with it. I look at that side and I don't see a problem. But there was a problem, Jamie. We came second in the league by a very long way, and we only came second because Liverpool had an injury crisis and Chelsea only played for half a season because they had to sack Lampard. We were miles off Man City. We got to a Europa League final we should have won, and we bottled it because that team under Solskjaer was limited. We played park the bus football, relying on moments, and everybody's job was simplistic. And there was no fans in the ground, and everyone got on with each other, but nobody knew how to win. There was a problem with that team. They did get on, but they were never going to win anything. That's not what United should be about. That's not what Liverpool should be about. So Ronaldo comes back to the club, winning mentality, ruffles a few feathers, toxicity in the dressing room. But that's not on Ronaldo. Ronaldo has performed in a toxic dressing room. In a bad United side, he scored 18 goals. And in fairness, Carragher did say that was superb. But he's performed by going into that club and saying the standards are not good enough here, whilst those players from the season before that apparently were quite good, actually down tools. You don't make an example out of the player that's come in and performed in a toxic environment under shit managers and with players who are downing tools. He's performed. If you are rebuilding, you don't get rid of the player that's performed. You get rid of the players that haven't performed. So making an example of Ronaldo would surely just promote the shit to go, ha, we got rid of him. I mean, that would be like Erik ten Hag walking into a living room, and on the far side of the living room, there's a 40-inch plasma TV, if that's what they are these days, 4K, it's the works, it's the dog's bollocks, right? And on the way to that TV, there's crap all over, like whatever crap you want. It can be dog shit, elephant shit, human shit, whatever. There's crap all over the carpet of the living room. What does Ten Hag do to clean up that living room? He walks across the shit, picks up the TV and throws it out the window. You've just thrown out your best and most valuable asset to sit with all the shit. He's got to clear the crap up. That's where Carragher's right and wrong. We do need at United to make an example of somebody, but not Cristiano Ronaldo, because he actually has the standards and drive and has performed this season. So I wouldn't make an example out of Cristiano Ronaldo. I would make an example out of... I do think there needs to be a player made an example of, and it can't be a Pogba or Cavani or a Lingard who are leaving anyway. It needs to be somebody who's sold. but not Ronaldo, not on that. As for him being a bad signing, how can he be a bad signing when he scored 18 goals? That's like saying, well, if Ronaldo wasn't in that team, United would be better off. I mean, you're not better off if you're not winning anything. I mean, there is an argument to say that if United hadn't have bought Ronaldo, that team from the year before might have got in the top four. But how's about I watch United every week, and most United fans do. We were never getting top four with or without Ronaldo because that team had been figured out. Last year it was playing in front of no fans with Liverpool and Chelsea weakened, Arsenal still going through transition, Spurs weren't very good under Mourinho, and the style of football we were playing was crap and got figured out very early on this season. Solskjaer didn't have a plan B. We were going to struggle this year no matter what. Ronaldo's actually made it, I wouldn't say tolerable, but we've still been bad. But where I do agree with Carragher is that if we're keeping with Ronaldo, which I think is absolutely essential, then we do need we need to bring a striker in. And what Carragher did say, which I agreed with, is are you going to bring a player to sit on the bench who's going to be happy to do that? They're not going to be very good. Or are you going to bring a player in that competes with Ronaldo, which Ronaldo might not like? And that's a problem for Manchester United. But certainly, in my opinion, you don't sell him. I mean, I did hear in the debate about, wow, Zlatan's done it at AC Milan, but that's just an idiot comment because Zlatan is playing in Serie A. We didn't want to keep Zlatan at this club. I mean, the argument is, well, Zlatan's, nearly 40 or is 40 and he's performing in an AC Milan shirt and they've just won the league. But that particular example is flawed because I don't believe Zlatan's actually started that many games for AC Milan this year. And on top of that, he's also a player that we moved on what feels like at least 4 years ago because he wasn't up to playing in the Premier League. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't need to be compared to other 38 or 40-year-olds. His age is irrelevant. His fitness levels are ridiculous. Maybe that's the angle Carragher's coming at, actually. Maybe this is the problem some people have with Ronaldo. They look at the age and say, he's past it, this, that and the other. I look at the player and I go, well, he's better than most of the Premier League strikers. Age doesn't concern me. He is better than most Premier League strikers. So why are people talking about his age? Ronaldo is ridiculously hard to put an age on anyway because everybody knows since the age of about 19 he's absolutely been obsessed about his fitness, what he eats. He's not a typical 38-year-old. So his age isn't irrelevant. It's whether he can do a job for Manchester United next season, and I certainly think he can. Holding him up as an example would send a terrible message to the people that matter the most, and that's the Manchester United fan base. How can you say, you're not for me, you're out of my club, to one of the greatest players that's ever played the game, still one of the best strikers in the league, and also our player of the year, and then retain people such as Bruno, Rashford, Harry Maguire and others who've been absolutely terrible? They need to be made an example of if you're making an example of anybody, not somebody who actually performed last year, who actually has the best winning mentality probably in the Premier League. I think Ronaldo's experience and desire and ability to win is probably better than anybody in the Premier League playing at the moment because he's won it all individually and collectively at team football. So yeah, I mean, I like Carragher. I actually think in many ways he's better than Neville, which is weird for me to say as a United fan, but he's got some bee in his bonnet about Ronaldo. And whilst I always respect people's opinions, and that's the way it should be, I completely disagree with him that Ronaldo should be held up as an example when you've got so many other players that should be, and he actually has been one of the positives because he came into that dressing room and said you're not good enough because they weren't good enough, and some of them just completely down tools. He's not a bad signing. You can't be a bad signing when you score 18 Premier League goals in that sort of a shit United side, which is the worst ever Premier League side we've had. Is he too powerful? Well, what's wrong with somebody being powerful in the dressing room? I'm sure Jordan Henderson's powerful in the dressing room at Liverpool. That's not a bad thing. Roy Keane was powerful in Man United's dressing room. Gerrard was powerful in Liverpool's dressing room. John Terry was powerful in Chelsea's dressing room. It's almost a negative if you're too powerful now. What's wrong with having a player that delivers who's powerful? That's just leadership. So I disagree with that as well. But I do agree with him on who we're going to bring in, how you share that role. So look, it was a shame actually because I thought his comments should have been pulled up better than they were. But obviously he's got his opinion. You're going to have your opinion. My opinion is that some of what he's saying is correct, but pinning it on Ronaldo is a long way off. apart from the striker thing, which I think that is an interesting dynamic for Manchester United next season. If you're keeping Ronaldo, and I really hope we are, who are you going to bring in? Because Ronaldo's got to be on board with sharing that role, which I think he will be, because we will unfortunately be playing Thursday to Sunday. And I don't think Ronaldo playing on a Thursday night and then on a Sunday lunchtime is that good for him. So maybe that's the way that we can work it. The ideal striker United need to bring in is a young, up-and-coming striker that wants to learn with Ronaldo off a year, knowing that Ronaldo's going to go next year, and then they become that. You couldn't bring a Harry Kane in. You couldn't bring a Lewandowski in, that, or or keep a Cavani, even if you wanted to. You need to bring a younger profile striker in that wants to work and learn from Ronaldo. But you want them to be good enough that they can take that spot. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting. Anyway, smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Get your comments in below as ever. Very interested to see. And remember, don't just go, Carragher's right because Ronaldo's shit. You know, that... I think some of what he's saying is right. I think some of what he's saying is really wide of the mark. But I'm interested to see what you've got to say. Don't forget to download OneFootball. It's free to do it. You can scan your QR code with your camera phone, or you can go through the link in the description. And we're building up towards the Champions League watch-along, which will be on this channel on Saturday night. I'm very excited about that, especially now I know Liverpool can't do a quadruple. But come on, let's wait and see what happens. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.